The objective for the experiment is to familiarize oneself with the field method for determination of soil texture class based on the characteristic of soil mineral sand, salts and clay, and second to qualitatively determine the soil texture class of soil sample using field method. Soil texture is defined as the relative proportion of sand, salts, and clay contained in the soils. It is a parameter that affects the amounts of water, nutrient, and even contaminant that the soil can hold. The field method is a qualitative method that are sand, salts, and clay, relatively bigger in size compared to salt and clay. The field of gritty between the finger indicates the dominant presence of sand, and the smooth field indicates the dominant presence of salt. Place approximately 1 tablespoon of soil in palm, add water drop-wise, break down all aggregate and knead the soil to form moist putty. Develop a ball with the wet soil and squeeze it. Does the soil remain in a ball? Place the soil ball between thumb and forefinger. Gently push the soil with the thumb with the same pressure and work it upward to form a ribbon with the uniform thickness and width. Allow the ribbon to emerge and extend over the forefinger, breaking from its own weight. Does the soil form a ribbon? Wet a small pinch of soil in palm and rub with forefinger. Does the soil feel gritty? Does the soil feel smooth? Neither grittiness nor smoothness predominates. Sample A is the sand because it only passed the step 1. The soil cannot be a ball because the texture very gritty. Sample B is silty clay loam as it passed step 1 until 4 and forming a ribbon more than 2.5 cm length, which is very smooth. For the experiment, its soil might contain contamination such as impurities and the minor injuries such as cut might be happening. For our safety, we must wear appropriate equipment to avoid injuries such as wearing a glove, and we must make sure the soil taken is not from contaminated area. While conducting the experiment, wear suitable personal protective equipment. For example, wear gloves while shower the soil to avoid injuries from animals in soil or stones. The conclusion for the experiment 2 is I can familiarize oneself with the field method for determination of soil texture class based on the characteristic of soil, mineral sand, salts, and clay, and able to determine qualitatively determine soil texture class or soil sample using field method. The objective for the experiment 3 is to familiarize oneself with different colors of soil, to apply Munster color chart for soil color determination, and to determine soil color at field using the Munster book chart. Soil is colorful, and the different colors of soil provide information and soil physical properties. Soil color does not affect the behavior and use of soil, may indicate the composition and condition of the subjected soil. The color of the soil is controlled by the amount of organic matter and the oxidation states of ions in the soil. Add a little water to soil to make a paste and smear a small amount on a piece of paper. Find a page from the Munster chart that closely match the soil sample's color. Hold the soil behind the page of selected chips and compare the soil to the colored chips on the foils. Do not get the soil on the foil. Identify the chip with the color that is the best match to the soil sample. Identify the position and record the identity of the soil sample and the hue, value, chroma, and descriptive term of the relevant chips. Record all information. Repeat step 1 until 3 with the field soil sample and determine 4 soil of different color. In this experiment, 6 soil were conducted and turned out into different colors, hue, value, and chroma. For our dried soil 1, the soil color description is dark grayish brown, which is hue 10YR, value 4 and chroma 2. And for our dried soil 2, the soil color description is yellowish brown, which is hue 10YR, value 5 and chroma 8. Field soil 3 color description is pale red, which is hue 10R, value 6 and chroma 14. Field soil 4 color description is dusky brown, which is hue 5Y, value 2 and chroma 2. Soil 5 color description is dust yellow green, which is hue 5GY, value 2 and chroma 2. Field soil 6 color description is moderate tan yellow, which is hue 2.5YR, value 5 and chroma 10. The error that might be happened in experiment 3 is the error in reading monster color chart in apps, and soil might contain contamination such as impurities. Make sure the soil taken is not from contaminated area, and while using the monster chart, make sure the soil is not too dry or too wet to easily find the soil color. While conducting the experiment, wear suitable personal protective equipment. For example, wear gloves while shoveling the soil to avoid injuries from animals in soil or stones. In conclusion, at the end of the experiment, I can familiarize oneself with different colors of soil, and I can apply monster color chart for soil color determination. And lastly, I can determine soil color at field using the monster book chart.